Hey guys, it's Anthony, Subaru Service. Got David's truck here. We got it broke down for an air test. We're going to the IPR valve. If we get it mainly coming out of the crankcase vent or the oil fill tube, we're possibly looking at either standpipes, dummy plugs. This is an 04 with it's an 04, so it's got standpipes, dummy plugs, and the weak pump. But if it gurgles out of here, then it's blowing pressure backwards out of the pump. If it's pretty tight everywhere, then we'll throw a different IPR valve in it and go for it. All right, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and couple it up right now. Here we go. Blowing out of this side. Blowing right here. You hear it? I'm feeling over on this one. It's out of oil. Kind of wish it had some oil in it. It's draining out. Oil filter standpipe is broke. I can feel air coming out of all of it, everywhere. Alright, hang on a second. Okay, here we go right here. You see it? I just plugged it all up. Here, let's plug everything. I'll plug the crankcase tube in here with the finger. It's coming out of the drain back valve. So if it's coming out of the drain back valve, that means that the air is blowing into the crankcase. I was going to take the oil filter standpipe off and pour a little oil in there and see if it's bubbling backwards, but you can see it splashing everywhere. There's so much air blowing. I mean, it might be a freaking top O-ring on the pump cover. Top O-ring on the cover. I would say in order to accurately diagnose it, we got to yank both valve covers so we can see everything and pull it down to the pump cover. Possibly even pull the pump off too. Or pull the pump cover off and we can just pressurize it right at the top of the J-tube. But it's blowing out of the drain back valve, not backwards through the pump. So I don't think it's going to be a pump. If it's blowing there, that means air is leaking into the crankcase. I mean, unless we look at the pump and you know, it's physically cracked, which is freaking rare. You know, but it's acting like an O-ring. Maybe one of the quick connects on the J-tube, or it could be the O-rings. There's an O-ring on the bottom on the pump, on the bottom of the J-tube, and then there's an O-ring on the top that the IPR valve gets fed by. Could be either one of those two, but it is blowing out of the crankcase vent, or the drain back valve, not where the pump gets fed. So that's just air strictly coming from the crankcase. So it looks like we're going to have to, I mean, it's probably at the pump with how even it is, because if it was at one of the oil rails, we'd hear it popping because it's blowing out oil. It would be popping. There's no popping at all. It's just straight freaking air blowing out. So, I mean, it's a gamble though, I mean, but it's not that much more to go ahead and yank the valve covers off and test if we're going in to yank the pump cover off. I mean, we might be good without a pump. So, that's what I would say. Yank it down, get down to the pump, re-air test with the pump cover off. And we'll see if it's fitting, or we'll see what the hell it is. But it is turbo off and pump cover off, in my opinion. Alright guys, have a good day.